Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here, and once again we have the Huffington Post misleading everyone with their headlines. You see, to believe this headline would believe that the Trump administration is actively working to allow homeless shelters to just kick transgenders out. Nothing could be further from the truth than this. But of course, Huffington Post doesn't care really about the truth. Now, of course, they're saying that Ben Carson is proposing weakening an equal access rule. But it's never really about equal anything when it comes to liberal activists. It's about their way or the highway. We've seen it time and time again with protests where they get in your face and scream obscenities into your face right up by your microphone so you can't record anything, or where they physically attack you until, of course, someone of greater size and stature gets in their way, as we have seen in a few videos where when they go to sucker punch someone, they're stopped, and then, of course, they cry and moan about being assaulted by someone who protected their victim. This one is much the same. According to this, they're saying Donald Trump's administration has proposed a rule change that would allow homeless shelters to deny transgender people equal access to services. When you dig into this, that's not what's happening. You see, the transgender activists are all about phrasing. I liken it to what I was taught when I was a detention officer for my county. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. To give a very short example, when I was a detention officer for my county, it was required at the beginning and end of my shift that someone go into the pod. We didn't have individual cells save for isolation. At least not at my unit. It was a barracks style housing area. So someone went into the pod and they would walk and they would look at everything. Are the beds made? Are the crates that inmates kept their personal belongings in properly under the bed? Is the latrine area clean? Is the shower open and visible and clean? If it's being used, view the person's face inside it. Are the tables properly? Is there not a hole in the wall? Tables properly clean an area. Basic stuff. One night I walked in and an inmate was sitting off to the side staring at me. And as I went back outside, and nothing was out of the ordinary, nothing was amiss. As I went back outside, the inmate approached the bars and told me he knew who I was. I didn't recognize him because he's quite a bit older than me, about 10 years. And yeah, I know quite a bit, 10 years. But he knew who I was. I looked up his card, found out he and I share the same last name. I'm not giving that because I'm not going to expose him and I'm not going to expose myself. Talked to my lieutenant, ultimately verified he and I are related. I had to write a report. My report did not state that I wanted him moved. My report stated very simply that I had identified an inmate who shares a relation less than third degree with an officer in my unit, myself. Another instance, an inmate bowed up. And by bowed up, I mean got in my face. Ultimately, I had to use a pressure point on him. Now, in the news, you'll see someone say that the officer slammed an assailant to the ground or threw a suspect against their car. When you read the report, you will hear that the officer used appropriate holds to subdue the aggressor and assure that they were not a threat to anyone in their immediate vicinity until assistance arrived. I didn't slam him into the wall. I placed him against a wall until proper assistance could arrive. It's how you say it. Now, in this one, Huffington Post is saying that Ben Carson's Housing and Urban Development Department is denying transgenders equal access to housing. They're really not. When you dig into this, you'll find that this article is about homeless shelters being allowed to choose. Those are important words. See, it's not requiring anything. Pardon me. It is allowing them to tell people coming in that they will be housed, and this is not during general operation, not during meal times, not during times when they can read or times when they can be in a class or whatnot. Pardon me. This is when they're being housed, generally accepted as when they're in their bunk. So they will be housed according to biological sex. Because what they're ultimately actually saying is the homeless shelters have reported that men and women, biological males and biological females, or if you use the transgender activist nomenclature, it would be cisgendered people, feel very uncomfortable when housed with someone of the opposite sex. What we've seen from the whole bathroom debate is that, and of course dressing room debate, is we've seen people who have been arrested for photographing people and harassing people and so on and so forth. I don't know of an actual sexual assault that's happened, but as long as you allow anyone on the planet to say, I identify as female, and walk into the women's restroom, you're going to get a pervert who uses that and ultimately assaults someone. And what they're saying for these homeless shelters, where the people running it are responsible for housing and feeding and ultimately caring completely for these people, they are saying that the majority of them are uncomfortable with someone of the opposite sex. This proposed rule change would allow the shelters the ability to choose to tell people you will be housed by your biological sex. Now, I ultimately see this failing in the courts and homeless shelters saying, fine, we will have a third and fourth option: cisgender male, cisgender female, transgender male, transgender female. You will be housed with those who identify the same as you. This will ultimately be challenged as well, as it will be seen as harassment or discrimination. Because, of course, everyone on the activist side will say, we have a right to whatever they want to say they have a right to. This, as much as the bathroom rule and anything else liberal activists will get active about, is not about actual equality or freedom. It's about control. It is about saying, you can't even disagree with me saying I identify as female. You can't tell me because I have a penis, I must use the male's bathroom. You cannot tell me because I have a vagina, I must use the female bathroom. You must agree with me. You must believe what I believe. You must praise me, and you must obey me. I was very much vocal when the whole bathroom ordeal erupted, that the only logical conclusion to it was option 3. You have the general male bathroom, the general female bathroom, and a third, all gender bathroom. Option 3 would be that you are in a single occupant restroom. I even went so far as to say rename them all as P, V, and T, or P, V, and O. And of course, I was called a horrible, homophobic, transphobic, bigot, Nazi, and every other emotional word you can say. When I went back to the people who insulted me and showed them cases of a man saying he identifies as female, caught photographing young girls, I was accused of manufacturing it. I could march the pervert who said he identified as female in front of them, prove he will not lie, and have him say, yes, once you got this opened, I used it to take pictures of girls, and I would still be accused of making it happen. Nothing will satisfy the liberal side of activism until there is total obedience and allegiance to them. And unfortunately, that means they don't care how many people are hurt by it. This is going to be an interesting one to watch. And I really don't know which way it's going to go. But I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments. Just remember, keep it civil. We don't learn from argument, we learn from debate. As always, please remember to like and share this video, as well as to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you're among the first to know of all new content as it is posted. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.